Hello, John Felt here. Welcome to the Weekly Water Outlook, June 26, 2016. Throughout the entire year, there are always different seasons we go into, and we're heading from spring into summer, so I start to look for different factors regarding our weather and our climate as we go into summer months. One of the ones I'm going to be looking at this week is feedback. I haven't talked about that for a long time. It wasn't much of a factor last summer, so I'll be taking a look at that. And some of the areas I'll be looking at very closely are these areas here that are showing significant precipitation deficits. Southeast U.S. is definitely one of those places, needs additional 6 to 9 inches of rain in spots, northern Alabama, parts of northwest Georgia into the Appalachians. Parts of the mid-Atlantic and the northeast U.S. are also quite dry. Smaller sections of the Midwest, central, north-central U.S., and California with a persistent rainfall deficit. Now, over the last 7 days, you can see in many of these areas there really wasn't a whole lot of help to alleviate these dry conditions. You can see a lot of brown. Brown is only saying 0 or 1 day of rainfall. It's the green spots that have been a bit wetter. And matter of fact, if we go back a little bit further over the last 30 days here, you can really see where there's been no precipitation in spots. These are consecutive dry days. Brown shades are 20 days or more. So look at this right here. We're getting a pretty good dry anomaly here of, 2 weeks, 3 weeks without any rain. Texas has been drying out, the central part of Texas, parts of the Midwest as well, and definitely the western U.S. Okay, so getting back at the last 7 days, here we go. Really, the only thing of interest was these streaks here, and these were thunderstorm streaks. The ridge of high pressure is located over the west central U.S., and we're getting a flow around the backside of that high, and you can see your northwest to southeast thunderstorm streaks here. Produce some really welcome rainfall if you were in that area. But on the other hand, right here, you've probably heard about the West Virginia flooding. Look at the enhanced precipitation here, 5-6 inches or more in that area. So when we look at the deficit rainfall departure from normal over the last week, the southeast U.S. got drier. Texas, which started out spring quite wet, has really shut off the spigot, and it's been extremely dry over the last, not just the last 7 days, but the last several weeks. Really, not much of the nation had a rainfall surplus, as indicated in green or blue. Temperatures over most of the nation were above normal. Southwest U.S., where we've had some record-setting temperatures, Southern California, Arizona, surrounding states, unusually hot. So the spots in flood are few and far between. They're responding for the most part to some local or regional precipitation. Here's the high flows due to that thunderstorm complex that moved into this region. We still have some high flows from Texas due to past rainfall. Other than that, that's about it. As far as low stream flow, this is indicated in red. You can see the southeast U.S., especially the dark red there. That is less than 5% of normal. The northeast U.S., especially low. That's near record in several spots. So we definitely need, from a hydrologic perspective, more rain in this region. Definitely need more rain in this region, and then scattered areas elsewhere. Now, like I've been mentioning the last couple weeks, the whole forecast really depends on the position of this ridge of high pressure. You can see it's situated over the southwest U.S. Remember, a couple weeks ago it was over the middle part of the nation. It's retrograded now to the western U.S. On the backside of this area of high pressure, a couple things. First of all, we have some energy moving through, so we're going to have a northwest to southeast flow. But it's also bringing this trough down here, and it's going to dig out a trough and bring in some significantly cooler air. Now, we see that transition this week. This is your average for the week, so it's going to be moving into the Midwest, the Great Lakes states, the Mid-Atlantic, Ohio River Valley, with significantly cooler weather than we've seen. Now, over the western U.S., that ridge will still be anchored in that region, so you can see that red there, unusually hot. So the other factor that can bring us significant precipitation is tropical activity. For a while, models were hinting at some development in the Gulf. They're not anymore. So right now it looks pretty quiet. I don't see anything on the horizon as far as tropical activity. Now, along that boundary, the transition of the cooler air, that's where we would expect our enhancement of precipitation. So here we go, right through mainly Kansas, surrounding states, Oklahoma, southwest Missouri, over the southern southeast U.S. This is a needed rainfall. This will be welcome, but other areas of drought just don't see much in the northeast U.S. or the western U.S. Now, this is sort of a messy map. I'll have to describe it. I took the U.S. Drought Monitor and the 7-day precipitation, and maybe I can find a better way to show this, but I wanted to look at each area. And the yellow shades are the drought monitor, and then the other shades are the precipitation. So this is indicating not much at all relief over the northeast U.S., not much relief over this section right here. This area where we have the heaviest rain is already not really in drought, with the exception of southwest Missouri and parts of Oklahoma, so that'll be some welcome rain. Okay, but let's look at the southeast U.S. This is where your extreme drought is, your more significant drought. Right now, it looks like the precipitation is going to be south of you, so it's really not going to bring all that much relief to the areas of the southeast U.S. under drought. Now let's go a little bit further for early July. Really no change in the position of the jet stream. The trough over the eastern U.S. digs a bit, and this 6 to 10 day range, well, temperature-wise, it's going to be very pleasant in this area in blue and very unpleasant in the area in red. Now, it'd be nice if there was more rainfall for that area, but it does not necessarily look like a wet pattern. And then as we get through July 6th to 11th, not a whole lot of change. The high pressure stays over the western U.S. So basically the western third of the U.S. pretty much hot and dry, not much change for the next 15 days. If we look at temperatures here, you can see right through day 15, well above normal temperatures, so the wildfire risk is going to remain quite high due to the very hot and dry conditions. Now, as we get into the 11 to 15 day range, those cool temperatures, below normal temperatures, moderate a bit back to normal, but overall, as we get into late June and the first half of July, it looks pretty nice over a large part of the Midwest and Ohio River Valley. Now, as far as precipitation goes, it seems like in summertime that's always very important for agriculture, recreation, and such. So this is week 1, and I think I've covered that pretty well. Let's look at week 2. I've said this many times that precipitation forecasts in summertime are always not a whole lot of certainty, but I think the few signals that I do see here in week 2 is a very strong dry signal in Texas, so it does look like yet another week of dry weather. So it's really gone from week after week after week of wet weather to week after week after week of dry weather. Southeast U.S. Does not look like much change. I would say odds are below normal precipitation. Midwest, where we could use some additional rain, the models are indicating the possibility of at least normal precipitation. So as far as our hazards go, mainly heat-related hazards, excessive heat in the 3 to 7 day range in the areas in red, and then that area of heavy rain in a small part of the plain states over the next couple days as that transition moves through. So that's pretty much it. That's a summary of today's briefing. I think, again, the biggest temperature trend is going to be the significantly cooler temperatures over the middle part of the nation and the continuation of very hot weather over the west. Really don't see any change in that for now for a couple weeks. Precipitation, pretty much a status quo. I see areas that are dry, still generally remaining dry, and then I see areas that have been wet. There aren't many of them. Actually, I don't even see much as far as that in the future as far as excessive rainfall, other than localized type conditions like we saw with West Virginia due to thunderstorms. That's this week's briefing. I hope your summer's going well, and I will be updating you throughout the week. Take care.